Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. We're going to start off talking about the Atlanta Braves, who lost a gut puncher. I mean, it was one where you felt like if you won, you're 5 games back. You still got 35 plus games to play. You got 5 more games left against the Phillies. And I think in any sport, as long as you have as many games against the opponent that's in front of you, you feel like you have a legitimate chance, because if you win those games against them
it's
there,
in your grasp. It's in your reach.
It's in your control.
You
control your own destiny to the utmost degree. And even if you win 4 out of 5 of those, like, you got a really good shot. Yeah. So you feel like you have a chance. Now you're 7 games back with 5 games to play against them, and you're like, like we're kind of back at square one. That we were actually even in a worse position to start the season, because you got to start making up ground. 2 things I really want to say, because aside from the fact that you fall 7 games back, the division was always probably a little bit unlucky. So I wasn't thinking about this as a must win. It was a game you wanted to win, but it wasn't a must win. Max Fried looked fantastic following Ronaldo Lopez's performance. Easily the best he's looked since he's been back. Looked like Max Fried of the past. That's what we predicted. He was due for one of those things. Unfortunately, gave up the 2 runs and couldn't hang on to the lead. But for the most part, he looked like Max Fried, and those kind of things are going to happen. It's hard to shut a good team out like the Philadelphia Phillies. So I think in the grand scheme of things, that's an overwhelming positive that is actually much more important than winning this game against the Phillies. The other thing was the Orlando Arcia staring down Bryce Harper after his home run. And listen, I have no problem with it. Frankly, I wish he had done stuff like this last year in the postseason. I wish the whole team hadn't tucked their tail during the postseason when it came out. I mean, the way that they handled that was super embarrassing. It wasn't the way that a 104-win club that has been the cockiest team in baseball for the last 7 years should all of a sudden tucks their tails because they're playing a team like the Phillies that beat them in the playoffs last year and now has a 2-1 series. It was distasteful. It was weird. It was odd. For everything that the Braves stand for, it seemed like the Phillies took on that role in that series, and they have in the last 2 series. And I don't mind Orlando Arcia giving it a little bit back. I think the circumstances are kind of funny because you're 6 games back in the division and you're only up 2-0. It wasn't like you're going up 8-0. You're going up 2-0. You end up losing the game. And it's the fact that it's Orlando Arcia, right? Like, I don't need, like, why isn't it Marcell Ozuna? Like, well, why is it Orlando Arcia starting the beef? It really is a David versus Goliath story. And I just imagine it being something where the break, like, he comes back in the class and like, yeah, man, you really didn't have to do that. Like, it's not something you had to do. That's not really you're not that guy, pal. Right. It's kind of like that thing. I wish the Braves as a team showed a little bit more of it rather than just Arcia. And then again, after the game, Arcia says, oh, I'm just having fun. Buddy. Just say you stared him down. Just say you stared him down. You stared him down. We lost the game. It happened. Like, it's the same thing that you did after the divisional round, where it's like you're not trying to acknowledge that it happened, but it happened, and it's fine that it's happened. This is competitive juices. It's like a playoff game in late August here, where you're in a must-win game for the Atlanta Braves, and you just can't just acknowledge the fact that I think that's what frustrates most Braves fans and everything. And then you lose the game. Obviously, it just adds a little more, punch to a game that you thought you should have, could have won, and it meant a lot if you did win.
Wow. I've got a lot of thoughts, and they're going all over the place. So I'm going to try and say them in an order that makes some sense. I didn't have a lot of issue with Orlando Arcia staring him down at first, and then I kind of, stepped it back a little bit, where it was like, no, I do have a problem with it, you bozo. We are down 6 games in the division. It is August. You are a 600 OPS guy. You're not good. Like, there in no way, shape, or form are you the one who needs to be going toe-to-toe with Bryce Harper. Now, you could be if the rest of your team would back you up, but we're a bunch of, things I can't say on air that, we aren't the bravado, boisterous, go toe-to-toe, nose-to-nose with the Phillies, quite obviously. And, we needed some of that attitude. So I didn't have an issue with it because I was like, yeah, maybe we do need some fight. And then, I took a step back and I was like, oh, that's so weak. You're such a bozo. Like, get off my team. And then what really set me off was the comments after the game. I could have lived with it. Orlando Arcia coming back out and being like, over the last NLDS, it was a mistake for us to kind of tuck tail and literally just call it what it is. The Braves tucked tail while the Phillies used it as fuel and propelled them to an NLDS series win. And the Braves tucked tail, and you were the better team over 162 games. And quite frankly, it wasn't even close. I don't remember the division lead at one point, but it was double digits.
It was 20 games.
Yeah, so you were a way better team than this, and you're sending out last year your worst player, literally our worst position player out last year to go toe-to-toe with their best player. It would have been something that was Ronald, Ozuna, Matt Olson, Austin Riley. Now, I know attitude has something to do with it, but, like, the rest of the team didn't back them up either. Like, we're just a bunch of schoolgirls buttoned up. It's time to take the gloves off. Like, this is an issue with this team. We do need to be a little bit of jerks. Like, we need some jerk in us. And, like, I don't know who needs to say it to Orlando Arcia, but stop doing one thing and saying another. Don't hit a home run and obviously stare down Bryce Harper on a home run trot in a game that, quite frankly, it doesn't really mean all that much. Win or lose, like the Braves, the probability is the Braves get into the postseason in the wild card. That's the facts. To say what you said in the clubhouse afterwards, once again cowering down, whether it's, you want to say the PC thing, you want to, do the whole coach speak, you don't want to get in trouble with Snicker, Alex Anthopoulos, I don't know what it is, but to double down again on doing something in the field and then saying something else, which is just so pathetic. It pisses me off. The Braves should be embarrassed. Like, somebody needs to come up to him and look him in the eye and be like, hey, mother effer, like, don't back down. Let's go. Like, we're going to see him in the playoffs probably if we make it. Like, there's no reason to be scared of these guys. And I don't know if he's scared of, like, internal backlash where it's like Brian Sticker's like, hey, man, we don't do that. We play the game the right way. That's BS. That's BS.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, frankly, I would like other people on the team to act a little bit like Orlando Arcia, and the fact that it is Orlando Arcia and the fact that they continue to tuck tail about the things. It's just like own up to it and say what you did. I mean, you clearly stared him down. There were questions about it initially. Then you watch the video. It's like the guy stared him down and you stared him down. You said, yeah, he did that to me last year. I returned the favor. It's really not a big deal and it really shouldn't have an effect. But when you sit here and you tuck your tail and you do all that,
it makes it a bigger deal.
Yeah, it makes it a bigger deal than it actually is. So I agree with you. I don't necessarily there's a lot of things that I like and don't like about it because I don't mind him at all doing it. Like, I really think that's part of the game. It should be part of the game. If I was Orlando Arcia, I'd have been dreaming of that moment that he finally got the chance to do. And he's not going to have a lot of those moments over the rest of his career. So I don't blame him.
He may never have it again.
I don't blame him for taking advantage of it and doing it. But yeah, it is kind of like, and frankly, maybe we'll hear questions about it today. Before the game. Hopefully we hear questions. Hopefully people press them on it. Hopefully they go back to the 2023 season and, hey, this is how you guys acted. Do you regret how you acted? Because you should regret how you acted. And is it going to be the same thing this year? Now you put a little added pressure on yourself, pressure you probably didn't need, which is another aspect of it. But frankly, if you can't perform in the pressure, you're not going to have a lot of success. You're not going to win a World Series. You're not going to win in October. You're probably not going to make the playoffs. So
get this guy off my team.
That's the thing. Like, I don't really hate Orlando Arcia for doing it. I just wish wish he'd owned it.
Yeah. So you do have an issue with, like, you have an issue with half of the.
But I have an issue with the entire team now.
I have an issue.
I have an issue. Like, I don't understand. Like, Orlando Arcia shouldn't even really be up there answering questions about it. Like, it's someone else should have buttoned it. Like, where is a leader on this team saying, yeah, he did it? Like someone needs to stand up for Orlando Arcia. Like that's really what I have an issue. It's not just Orlando Arcia. Like, I wish someone else would be like, yeah, we were pumped up that he did it. We were glad that he did it. It got us fired up. Unfortunately, we lost the game, whatever. I don't need Orlando Arcia up there fending for himself and saying like that, because that's not really his role on that team. Like, yes, he can do it in the moment, but that's not really his role. I need someone else to come up and say, yeah, he did it. I need Michael Harris to do that. I need Austin Riley.
Matt Olson would be nice.
Riley's injured, but I need Matt Olson. I need Marcell Ozuna. I need someone to come up there and stand up.
We got a bunch of quiet, soft, nice guys.
Because he's in a fight that he's obviously way
overmatched,
way above his head. Like, I need someone else.
Like, Bryce Harper doesn't have to say anything. All he has to go do is go pimp a home run.
And Orlando Arcia shouldn't be in that position. Yes, he was in that position because he hit the home run, and I'm actually not happy he does it. But it needs to be the rest of the guys on the team, not just Orlando Arcia, that stand up for Orlando Arcia for doing it, because there is no problem with it. But I need to hear it from the other team. I need to hear it from whoever the hell is still leading this clubhouse, whether it's Chris Sale, a pitcher, Max Fried. I don't care who it is, but someone say, hey, we were glad, it got us fired up. This was a big game for us. Unfortunately, we lost, whatever. But I'm not really even mad at Orlando Arcia, because I don't think those are the questions he need to be answered. I don't have a problem he did it. I'm looking at the entire team and saying the team needs to own up to it and be like, yeah, we did it. We lost, whatever. We move on. It's really not that big of a deal. But the fact that we can't just say that, hey, this is part of baseball. We were pumped up. We hit a big home run in a big game, and we were just trying to show them a little shade. It rubs you the wrong way. And I'm really looking at the leaders of the team, and I don't know who the leaders of the team are, and that's the bigger issue.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, but I am pushing back that I do have, like I said, I began the whole thing is like, I didn't have a problem with them at first. And then it's like, dude, we are half of the team we were last year. And listen, it takes a way bigger man to talk crap, to chirp when you're down versus when you're up. So I completely respect that aspect. But let's have a little bit of self-awareness in the fact that we are down significantly in the division. We aren't like this. I just have you suck as a player compared to him. Like, I don't understand why, hit your home run, walk around. And usually I'm the guy who's like, thump your chest, talk your talk. But do you need to be embarrassed on a national stage again? Like, I mean, learn your lesson.
But see that to me, that's saying that's him pushing back that he isn't scared, and I don't think.
And then the clubhouse comments, something is very wrong in the clubhouse where we thought there was this great environment. And then he's scared. Then he's scared of internal backlash.
Could be, and that could be why. And that could be the bigger issue. And I think that those things are the real problems that we have, is the fact that there aren't leadership, there aren't dogs in there, and there might be guys that don't feel like they have the firepower. But I can tell you what, Orlando Arcia has been overlooked his entire career. He's still out there on the field thinking that the Braves can do something, because he doesn't think he's a scrub, even though he might be a scrub. But he doesn't think he's a scrub, and he still thinks the Braves can do something. That's what I saw from him last night. I would like the leaders in this clubhouse to show us a little bit more, especially if they're asked about it again, because it's not a big deal, but you got to own it.